Welcome one and welcome all to the ESL Asia Open Cup. This one's, of course, Korea focused. This best of three between two pretty goddamn good Starcraft 2 players. To the top right, we have the red Barotas PartinG, and you have his opponent calling his build in chat, the bottom left side of the map, the blue Zerg RagnaroK. Now, for those who don't know why he's doing this, it's because PartinG has rather infamously been doing cannon rushes and forge pushes and things with shield batteries. He's done this to get into IEM. He's done this in most of the games we cast of him versus Zerg, regardless of win or lose. So RagnaroK's 100% just poking some fun at the fact that PartinG is so well known for doing the same dumb build over and over again. His response, of course, is this shout charge rush. I think yeah, Zealot Rush. Something that PartinG will maybe actually do. It seems unlikely. He's such a big Blink Stalker player. RagnaroK. I just love that he's calling him on his shit, dude. This to me is the same thing. Like, you got a pitcher versus batter squared up, home plate. Batter's pointing his bat out to the outfield. You know, he's calling the home run. You know, he's calling him out on his shit. He knows what's going through PartinG's mind. So yeah, absolutely, this was a fake out. PartinG giving him some veiled threats as response. Oh, I love these guys. RagnaroK has been showing some pretty good results recently. Feeling very good about his state as a Zerg. I think he's a very, very good Korean Zerg player. PartinG, obviously, I don't need to attribute anything. He's already earned it, right? This year, getting to IEM, playing a lot of these cups, winning some as well, being abusive to the poor NA players. So this really is two really good players squaring off. Sure, this looks a little alarming. RagnaroK comes over and says, "Wait, you have a cyber core at an appropriate timing and no other weird buildings at the front? What's going on here, boy?" If we dips in a little further, we'll see the Nexus and be further confused, but not for real. Now they're just trying to chase down that probe. Make sure. Yeah, it's not even about killing the probe, really. It's just making sure PartinG's not putting on pylons and being a nuisance. Obviously, if you guys haven't figured out the math on this too, by the way, PartinG is streaming his point of view on this live now on Twitch. I will say, if you go watch the stream on his side, have some fun, but please don't bring the spoilers back to this one because we're forced to use a delay and he's not. So you'll see the game end on PartinG stream before you'll see it on ours, and if you spoil it, oh boy, that's a quick trip to Bantown. Heartbroke says he celebrated his birthday by going to a local brewery crawl. Bought a bunch of brews from a bunch of places. Nice, dude. Drinking them in your living room is certainly the classiest way you could do that. At least not out on the street. Evil MacGyver, thank you for the 22 months. We'll have to cut a small chat for now because these Zerglings are right outside the base. PartinG can't really move out to take a third. He also has to be on guard for the wall. Otherwise, this happens. Oh, the sentry coming out in a moment. He should be able to push those lings off the stalker. This is nothing to really be worried about. The Adept should transfer in here, but it's a little awkward with positioning. Pushes out, but now he loses both possibly. No, brings it back in. Loses one, almost loses the other. PartinG goes from a very confident point of defense. So you see he's already pre-layering other buildings, fully aware that he may lose his position here as the front line continues to break. Pylon on the left side, absolutely necessary. Barely gets it down in time, but he's running out of space, and he's running out of units, and he's running out of a way to stop RagnaroK's ling attack. Oh, this is not a full wall to the south. Catches it with the force field, but a little bit too late. Sentry here almost goes down. All range units are super valuable because all range units keep these lings from getting in on the base. He's continuing to build more units in, layering it even further. Gonna lose that cyber core, but it's good that he already built another one, so it's no disruption to his production, but his production is pretty dang low with the gateways having gone down. Force field's not here. Oh my god, these things are so close to breaking him. RagnaroK with the goodbye in the alt chat. PartinG probably very reluctantly typing GG because he's gonna go eat his... I mean, wait, what? The force field hold here is hilarious and absolutely unnecessary. RagnaroK says, yeah, okay, I'll start messing around. He just goes to the main base. These probes are all pretty forfeit. Good position there with the sentries, though, and I love the SimCity aiding to this, but it's one of those things where we're a little too far gone, and even the micro god PartinG can't save this. The shield battery is gonna last a long time though, so might be some of the last units to die. Main base actually cleans up and holds, albeit barely. Natural base holds on a little bit longer, but the sentry's now gone. No more force fields, no more energy on these shield batteries. PartinG, it's time. There you go. Taps out and RagnaroK takes game number 1. Spawning here in the top left. He's down 1 at the moment of the series. It is, of course, big boy PartinG. His opponent, though, in the bottom right, very powerful Zerg player, very friendly guy, too. Very funny man in the all chat. It's, of course, the blue RagnaroK. One thing you're gonna note here, Korean culture is really funny and friendly, and a lot of these guys are. It's funny how much more they're willing to smack talk each other than anyone else. Like, they would never publicly talk like this, I think, to a foreigner, for example, unless they were super good friends with them. But PartinG and RagnaroK will just sling it around. PartinG and, you know, there's actually a series way back, True versus PartinG, and I always thought it was the funniest thing of all time. And I remember I finally met PartinG in real life, and I asked him about that series, and he told me, like, you know, all the smack talk was actually real. Like him and True had some problems at the time or something along those lines. And I always thought it was really funny because it just came off as the exact same silly banter. So you see these guys smack talk all the time. Don't take too much out of what you saw at game number 1, but RagnaroK, funny man there with the bye-byes and calling his builds. PartinG, by the way, not changing it up, not going desperately into a forge to salvage a win here for the series. And I like this because I'm pretty aware that he's aware that RagnaroK is aware of how to deal with that. So it makes a lot more sense to play this out. And one of PartinG's other big strengths, other than his silly openings, are the way he handles his stalkers and his micro and the warp prisms. So having more of those out on the field, I think, will be a better display no matter what his opponent's up to. Probe, by the way, almost gets first blood in the game. Xavier, 1984. Thank you for the 25 months. He's continuing to be out here with the probe, which is pretty bold. I think he really wants to confirm third base timing. He's definitely gonna lose that probe though. Doesn't actually see either of the bases on the way out. There was a third base going down. Saves the probe though. Hey, feels good. Tara Branford. There you go. Yeah, it's Sabin doing all the crazy combo moves. I probably shouldn't talk about this since I just asked our editor to take that conversation out of the VOD, so now it's gonna have to be left in the VOD and insert the fail fish emote. Anyways, I'll always help to get distracted by Final Fantasy later. Robo is the weapon of choice for PartinG. This makes the most sense because this pairs well with his control. Give him that Warp Prism and any amount of immortals, and he will dance like a god. Oh, Resonating Glaives. Okay. The more gateways make sense now, and this is going to be super duper aggressive. I say that with an asterisk because I think we all really know I'm talking about the phrase all in, but all in kind of comes as a result, I feel, of how the fight's likely to go. PartinG has no idea, so we'll see how much he commits. It's very possible he takes the third base through the aggression, but definitely for the next probably 1,000 minerals, it's going to be all army based, as we'll see a lot of adepts warped in. Roach horns coming down for RagnaroK back at home, so he should have time to make roaches as long as he makes them right the frick away. But of course, for PartinG, he's going to get across the field, warping the units, so there's plenty of time to make that happen. And so far, RagnaroK doesn't know about this, by the way. In fact, this Stalker build is such a cool little fake out at the front. Not having seen a single adept so far, he has no reason to think somebody who's famous for using building Stalkers is doing anything other than warping in Stalkers, or getting ready to. But that Resonating Glaives attack will come in here and get scouted. Covered here by... Oh, that Zergling was the best Zergling! Not only did it see where the attack was coming from, it saw the fact that it was adepts and immediately roaches, but additionally, of course, we have Spinecrawler on the way. He's taking no chances here with the defense. He wants to lock this down. Now, there's no reason for PartinG to commit to this base. Playing the Queens here would probably be far more beneficial. He agrees, snipes off one, transfers all the way through to the ramp, but the natural roaches are not out just yet. Coming in 4 or 5 at a time, the adepts might have been able to fight them, but they choose not to. They're going for workers, they're going for kills. They're not looking to fight the army and trade this out. That's why I said sometimes this goes questionably all in versus not. Cancels the transfer. The drone stayed in the main. PartinG gets 9 kills out of this. And of course, the transfer is still going to try to go through. Back at home, third base is being taken. Warp Prism not assisting the front line, which is a bit of a bummer, but of course this is because he's producing immortals and getting his base set up back here. So this attack went from being something that was pretty committed to something that did get some okay drones, and he should, with that extra base, start pulling ahead from this. I mean, resources lost is separated by 25, so pretty close trades so far. The scary thing is that once the adepts are dealt with, that's when the roaches have the confidence to go across the field and counterattack. So for PartinG's sake, I think it's very important that these adepts stay here and transfer around, but not to kill workers necessarily, but just to stay present on the map. To keep RagnaroK at home, fearful that there's a big attack coming and that he might lose his workers. That way he's not poking at your brand new third base, which is almost finished as we speak. A couple of adepts do transfer through. Looks like they're gonna grab 5 workers, 6 workers almost. Yeah, not quite getting that last shot in. So a total of 17 drones have died for the 11 adepts. Economically devastating for RagnaroK. It'd be a lot worse if PartinG wasn't getting a third base, but he is, so he's actually in a pretty good spot. His Forge starts up too, and we'll see some upgrades to pair up with those soon to be Blink Stalkers. Yes, there you go. That's PartinG for you. And with 3, possibly 4 immortals timed out for any kind of counterattack RagnaroK could pull off, I think PartinG will be just fine. Hell, even the shield battery just finishing up alone is hugely beneficial. PartinG's builds eat so much ass. Oh my god, I gotta start reading Twitch chat tonight. I do love whoever, I don't know who did it, but thank you whoever sent that clip over from PartinG in his like little pre-game on stream. And of course, I want to remind everybody that's watching this, be it through YouTube or be it here live on Twitch, that next Saturday, April the 18th, we're going to be having PartinG on the channel for a holdout challenge where you, the viewers, will challenge PartinG to see how long you can survive. And dollar value prizes will be assigned. We've decided to try something new. Every minute you survive will be worth $1 with the top 4 players getting paid. So, Joe Schmo Random, come out, give it your best shot, and see if you can beat everyone else. Because you're not trying to beat PartinG, you're just trying to beat everybody else in Twitch chat. And that's happening again on the 18th. So if you're a big PartinG fan, you'll definitely get to see more of them here on the channel. Yeah, for those coming in, Source is bugged tonight for some reason. I don't know. Twitch is maybe throttling stuff, but people can't seem to pick 1080p. But you can, on the VOD, clearly see 1080p works. So there's something going on tonight. It's a bit screwy, but we'll talk about that later because we have the attack commencing. A lot of force fields, but also a lot of freaking Ravagers to break said force fields. Now, with the first 6 or 7 Corrosive Spells going down, that may have been a bit of confidence to continue pushing up, but PartinG doesn't have the numbers. I think he knows it, so he's going to play this as careful as he can around these Ravagers. They're super frustrating because of how volatile and deadly they can be. Yeah, another wave of those Corrosive Spells pushing backwards. Ah! Okay, almost eats that southern one. Remember, these Stalkers do have blinks. So in a pinch, they can get out of there, but he's trying very hard not to lose the sentries because without doubt, these sentries are some of the most powerful units on the front line right now. The Observer continues to move around as well, so he's got high ground vision. This is no surprise when the Corrosive Piles land. He's just coming, doesn't lose! His Observer to the Corrosive Piles! Oh my god, almost flying into it. Fourth base so boldly, so brazenly goes down on the other side of the field. Stalker shamelessly blinking up to the high ground here. I don't think there's too much commitment in mind, but this is like you pick off 2 or 3 of these units and you just blink out with relatively low to no losses. I mean, got a Spore Crawl out of it too, kind of just picking up freebies where he can. PartinG's made the next move. Disruptors are coming up. I'm surprised he's getting away with his base. I mean, PartinG is technically getting into his 4th base a little bit better than RagnaroK is getting to his. I mean, RagnaroK will be done sooner, but this is a situation where every Zerg wants to be a base up over their Protoss opponent. You know, PartinG's on 4, you should be on 5. So not great to be trailing a bit, but the other part of this too is just not knowing it. Remember, all of this has been going down on RagnaroK's side of the field, and we haven't had time for an Overseer to be across the map, traversing the field, and looking at the bases. He has no clue what PartinG's been up to through all of this, and that's really scary to think about. So much focus and so much attention's been put on the front lines, and kudos for it. He's won a lot of these defensive engagements, but yeah, ultimately he might lose to the macro. There's one really big attack coming though. Like this is the big huzzah. He doesn't want to let PartinG get too far ahead in the game. So a huge army supply marches across the map. PartinG trying to kind of whittle away at it as he retreats back with the stalkers. Blink, blink, blink before it's too late. Ah! He's got that fourth base to fall back on. There's a lot of time he can buy here with sentries at this ramp. Rosenbaus ideally don't want to go into those force fields, so he'll just wait it out. Go around another direction, but the other ramp's covered by disruptors, so ooh, come into my nest, said the spider to the fly. Oh, and then the spider's like, wait a minute, you're a wasp! Okay, gets an okay shot up there. He's got 7 kills. No big deal. That disruptor picks off like 3 Ravagers and a handful of Lynx, but he's still being pushed back. Out of force fields and out of juice. Ravagers are breaking in. But keep in mind, folks, all PartinG has to do is survive. He just has to hold. There's no counterattack necessary. He's ahead economically. He's got a fantastic fourth base situation, and he's up 10 workers. So not only does he hold, he's pushing back. This is looking fantastic for PartinG, who, by the way, is on the verge of having +2 weapons very shortly. +2 melee's done for RagnaroK, but I mean, there's armies of roaches. They're not benefiting from these upgrades hardly at all, if at all. Yeah, well, Rifkin, they literally don't benefit from them. I'm talking about the Zerglings surviving longer and dealing more damage. Chang! But the Colossus looking so much better this time around. 9 kills, 12 kills. Brand new one joins the front line. A lot of the front meat's been taken away here from PartinG, but with the Immortals still standing, there's no jumping on these Kalos. And that's it. Taps out. GG. No forge necessary for PartinG to tie up the series. Spawning here in the bottom left side of the map, the series has been tied up in a way that works for him. He's still very much on his last life, though. It is, of course, big boy PartinG. And his opponent to the top right, standing one more time, is the blue Zerg RagnaroK. You see that early probe be super annoying and scout around and be a nuisance all around. I'm in the meantime going to take a brief moment here to... Who else is in this game? I'll put the camera on Crank for a hot second because I have to tap out and respond to a very important message, guys. So I apologize. Just give me a moment here. Okay, there we go. Sorted. Sorry, that was my my email alert going off. Like, hey, we noticed your credit card that you don't use is being used. And it's like, hey, let's not lock me down while I'm in the middle of quarantine and the credit card's literally the only way I have to pay for things right now. So, can I have a brief mini heart attack seeing that email? We good now. We good. All right. Let's pretend none of that happened because we can't quite cut it for the VOD. PartinG and RagnaroK luckily haven't been to anything too shenanigansy and too bad. So as far as he's concerned, this is a pretty just standard opening. I don't think it's going to be on RagnaroK to change much though. Maybe it'd be a little bit more on scouting and seeing what's going on, etc. But I really think for PartinG, he's the one who's going to be making the plays. He'll be adjusting Robo versus All In versus Sky Battle. All RagnaroK has to do is not play too greedy until he knows what PartinG's doing, and then once he knows what PartinG's doing, react appropriately. Sounds so simple, but it's really not, especially when PartinG's the guy you're playing against. He's so good with mind games. My favorite actually way to really, if I had to showcase PartinG's strengths, I think I would actually show people his PvPs. He's really good at getting in the heads of his opponent, not in terms of like talking a bunch of smack or calling their moves or silly stuff like we saw in game 1, but more so in the pacing of the game. He'll make you think he's on 2 bases when he's on 3. He'll make you think an all-in's coming when really he's taking a ninja base. PartinG is really good at stuff like that. So the fact that RagnaroK knows PartinG pretty well has made, I think, a little bit difficult for him to play the game in that regard. A little bit of, I guess, mind game metagaming. So we've seen PartinG play with these a little bit more standard builds, but this one's going to be another aggressive one for sure. As it's actually gonna go for Dark Shrine. Ooh, spoopy times. RagnaroK, we'll see if he's prepared for it. If he's not on a lair, he might still have Spore Crawlers because a lot of Zerg players have that perfect timing versus air units, but I won't tell. Logan, which I'm assuming are Roman numerals, but I don't read cursive, so I wouldn't know. Thank you very much for the 11-month resub. Welcome back, dude. Okay, these Inlings out of RagnaroK are not a big all-in squad, but they're going to be aggressive and poking at the front and hoping to provoke PartinG into a reaction. That might give away what's going on in the game. That Stalker's in a hella awkward spot, though. He's probably going to lose that, which is sad to say, so sacrifices it. Feels bad. But a nice little start there for RagnaroK, because now he's got a lot of surface area on this Cyber Core. You see PartinG's actually building a wall here. Very fearful he'll lose this. Maybe a couple of force skills can prevent it, but this is a Cyber Core, so if he can't save this, he's got a backup on the way. But if he does save this, surely we'll see a build cancel there, because there's nobody's going to have 2 Cyber Cores. I think he's very afraid he's going to lose this, though, and he just might. The force field's bait out a few more Zerglings and survive the Cyber a little bit longer, but this base... He's got a few more seconds to decide whether he cancels it or not. Canceling it, though, is so risky. I kind of feel like it might just be worth it, but he decides, nah, I want to save that money for another gateway, another warping, because there are DTs coming. Let's not forget while this went on. So we have a layer on the way. It's nearly finished, so Overseer shouldn't be out of the question, but I don't know how much detection he'll have initially, because he's certainly not expecting this. Through these attacks, he did not make it through to the main, and of course didn't see the Dark Shrine. Here they come. Ninjas. Like ninjas, they move in the shadows. But it's not a spore crawler. They're coming here to snipe. It's hoping to catch the timing before an Overseer is done, but the Overseer is already finishing up, so he's going to lose at least one of these DTs. A little bit rough, because it now means he needs to warp in one more to get the Archons going. He can continue this, though, with Archon play if he'd like. Oh, doing it on the main base would be so risky, but he's going to actually just drag and drop the DTs for the sake of DTs. Obviously, the Overseer is on top of this, but they just have so much upfront damage. One swipe kills pretty much everything. Loses another Dark Templar, though. A little bit of mishandling from PartinG. Gets him 7 workers, but loses him 2 Dark Templar. I don't think this is going to go to the Archon stage of things. I think he really is just looking to do as much damage as possible here with the DTs. Loses another one while this goes on, and a bit shameful because there's nothing going on the other side of the fact of the map to distract him. There wasn't some Ling attack poking and preventing a third base. That was just a little sloppy out of PartinG, frankly. Blink's on the way. Overseer, well, Overlord. Could have been an Overseer later, but regardless, Overlord dies, Overseer lives. A little bit of scouting still ahead, but nothing that's really seen anything too concrete, I guess. He hopped into the main base well after the fact, so I mean, the Dark Shrine's not a surprise. Does RagnaroK use the diva announcer? Is that the stupid girl giggling I just heard? Hang on, we gotta watch his vision. I'm about to be very disappointed in RagnaroK. I'm about to never cheer for RagnaroK ever again. Come on, he's got to finish researching or building something, right? Okay, well, Diva only says stuff when stuff's going on, so we'll check it in later. Which watchtowers do we have today, by the way? We've got Total Biscuits, so the Axiom logo blessing us in this game, and looks like just the one. Little Easter egg fact I don't mind bringing up over and over again is they did secretly attach random modifiers to the watchtowers, so they will spawn sometimes displaying a little bit of a nod to Total Biscuit, and sometimes they'll spawn with In Control's old logo, so a little bit of a nod to him. I think it's a sweet move because Zelnaga towers are in every game. Anyways, Blink will be finished here very shortly. Should certainly be here in time for the fight. Contaminate was delaying Immortal production. But even with just Blink stock, even with Blink Stalkers, not even just Blink Stalkers, like this is an army supply problem. RagnaroK's up, double the army supply. PartinG's gonna have to pull off some like seriously sick moves to even this up, and he's on the defense pulling entirely. There's no War Prism on the other side of the map, killing 19 drones and making it super worthwhile. He's just stoically got to defend 111 Zerg's army supply through with his 52. He's got +1 weapons finished up. Needs that War Prism here, that's for damn sure. Some shield batteries finishing up too, but this is so many Ravagers pushing in. So many Ravagers who are going to break PartinG and end his tournament career tonight. Nice micro so far out of the big boy. Trying very hard to keep that War Prism out of fire, but he does loses it to the Corrosive Piles. Oh, this could be it. The Immortals no longer have a safety net. The shield batteries are all dry. The Stalker count's not very high, and the numbers are just continuing to rack up here in favor of RagnaroK as he's reinforcing the map with more units. He's losing this first fight. It's a little awkward because I don't think he's like microing much, to be honest. Like, there's a little bit of F2 going on here, but he does lose a little bit more than I think he wanted to. A lot of those Ravagers to the south died needlessly. However, this did not kill the base, and it did not kill the probes. So while PartinG is still in a very bad position and in a very bad way, He's still in this game until his army dies. Once that happens, there's no recovery. He's losing a lot of these stalkers because he already blinked once, so it's on cooldown. Trying to do some very partying-esque moves with the micro. Roaches are baited forward. Too many overseers. If you snipe off the overseers and warp in DTs, that'd be fantastic, but he realizes that's going to be a problem. So goes straight for the fight with the roaches. No shenanigans on the overseers whatsoever. But I feel like in a plight of desperation, it would be the move to go for. These stalkers, though, kiting like God. Shield batteries, little bits of energy topping them up here. Just barely keeping them alive, but barely has so far been enough. And PartinG holds so far. Hold on, though. It's not over yet, guys. Warp Prism picking up some of these stalkers. Needs the extra damage. Needs to get them out of that Warp Prism ASAP. New stalkers warping on the front lines. RagnaroK trying so hard to finish him off here, but I think he's realized, wait a minute, I might not actually be able to end the game. So he starts droning up back at home. This could be the end of the aggression. PartinG very well may have stuck in this game because his worker count remained high through all of this. Sitting on 56 probes is enough to warp in an army. It's certainly enough to try and all in off of this point, but I mean, he's got to be thinking about a fourth or a lot of aggression, and there's no time to like dilly-dally between the two. So stalkers are going to head out on the field immediately. We might see a DT walk around the map and sneak attack, but for the most part, PartinG's the one on a bit of a tear now. What a fantastic hold, though. And that wasn't with sentries. That wasn't with a disruptor getting some amazing shot off. That was with kiting and splitting and blinking stalkers like a god, because that's who PartinG is when he plays with blink stalkers. Oh, contaminate on the Nexus is annoying. Actually, whoa, that's a lot of energy on these Nexus. So PartinG's not been using much Chrono Boost, which isn't a huge problem. Oh, it looks like, by the way, sorry, I missed this. DT got into the base. But we'd certainly love to see him start using some of those Chronos on something, even if it's not just upgrades. Probe production. Oh no, there's a cannon here. There's one single cannon here to hold the defense. A couple of DTs can warp in maybe, but PartinG doesn't have time to mess around with this. He's got to focus up here. The attack commences and he's going to lose probes. Oh, though he stacks them off to the assimilator, so maybe he won't. Both players are just kind of on autopilot down there to the south. All the control is going to be going up here to the north. Picks off a pylon. DT will push these back. New base, not quite found out about yet, but he's very close to being pushed into it. There's the Diva. How dare you? Goddamn Diva. How I loathe her. Not blinking out of the front lines. Dodging the bios pretty nicely. Base down here, I believe, gets canceled. I don't think we saw a kill. That's good. Oh, speaking of good, somebody just gifted out a bunch of Stream Raider skins. Thank you. I'll read those out after this game. Oh, someone got the Musketeer. Nice. Stalkers continue desperately trying to take this fight. Now, there's no shield batteries to fall back to, but blink stalkers blinking to the back line essentially get healed up out of the fight while the front ones get replaced, and then those ones come in to replace the full shields, the ones that got taken out last. So there's this kind of perpetual motion going on with PartinG's army with the way he organizes the layers of the stalkers. But I mean, remember, beforehand he was holding the defense with half the army supply. This time he's attacking with +2 weapons is a huge advantage. But oh no. Oh, okay, he sees this. He pulls. But like, what's he pulling to? There's nothing to protect these probes once they make it through. Hold position, hold position, hold position. Barely swerve off. Oh my God. Sorry, I gotta see a doctor about my sphincter. Okay, so good deploy from RagnaroK. He continues to poke away at the stock and line at the front, but this appears to be trading out fairly even. The probes trying to go back to mining, but a little too soon. He's got to pull them away again. No, I can't handle this. Okay, deals with this. Now red alert can be focused or turned off and focused now on the front line. Stalkers still dodging out those corrosive biles, but blink by blink, we see Ravagers dying and Stalkers not. The army supplies remaining fairly consistent for both, but PartinG's army just feels like it's undying. Barely loses a stalker here. Another attempt at a base gets shut down to the south. I mean, a lot of focus has been here. I'd love to see more DTs or more side action there for PartinG, but he's very focused on warping everything he can here on the front line, and who can blame him? Because if his army can break this initial defense of RagnaroK, it will certainly snowball to victory. This is a much closer than anticipated game, guys. RagnaroK continue to be active down to the south. Take a quick peek. Bloop. Slings and banelings this time. DT sees it, but DT can't stop it. Stalker's blinking over here like crazy, so he's not looking back at home. Those circlings, force fields go down, but no, the banelings wrap all the way around. PartinG pulls. Is it too late? Oh my God, the force fields, the warpers, they're all just barely there in the nick of time, and he holds, keeps the probes alive. Like 2 base cancels, several Baneling run by attempts at attacks. He's only lost a small amount of workers. In comparison, his opponent has actually lost twice as many. I gotta tell you, PartinG, if he loses this game, impressive play, like super impressive play. Now that blink was really greedy. He realizes that may not have been a good blink, forced to split his stalkers through 2 ways. Otherwise he loses half no matter what. Could possibly blink over the ramp, blinks back into more Zerglings though. This army's dead. Tries to recall it out of there, but not before some corrosive piles can take out 3 or 4 more. Looks like about 5 stalkers got out of there alive. Not good. That positioning was so greedy. I think he would agree. Now he's in full retreat once again, stuck on 3 bases while he knows his opponent's on 4. This is tough for PartinG. This is really tough for PartinG, but he does have the next stage of this tournament. He's got the next stage of this game, pardon me, the tech, because he wants to go to the next stage of the tournament. He's got Colossus in play, but Colossus are not necessarily the answer here. However, the faster he washes off the Zerglings, the sooner the stalkers can get to work and fight the actual army. Those Ravagers are plentiful. They're coming through a choke. He misses the opportunity to fight at that choke. Withdraws to make sure he doesn't get caught in a bad position. Several roaches are left behind. Probes are pulled. Warpins are made. This Colossus are useless. What are you doing? Oh, gotta be careful he's not caught out of position. PartinG doesn't have God vision. He doesn't have Observer sitting outside of the base. So unfortunately, he doesn't know from which angle these attacks come. Tries to protect the south, sees the Banelings, snipes him off, blinks in for the body block, dives on that grenade. Literally body blocking with the stalkers was so good. And he saves his probes again, but at some point this becomes a game of attrition. PartinG is taking better trades. Look at the resources lost. He's so far ahead, but he can't get ahead because he doesn't have the money like RagnaroK does, being fueled from this base. I knew RagnaroK and PartinG was going to be a good set. I didn't think it'd be this good. Oh no, not again. Body block, can't get the body block. Oh my god, the probes are so close to getting picked up. They start splitting. You can see he's panicking a little bit. He's accepting he's gonna lose some, sacrifices to the south, blinks in for the stop, the top side, but still loses 10 probes ultimately. Funny enough, this won't hurt him too badly mining wise because he's running out of minerals, so he's already gonna be saturated for the probe count that he has, but this does spell the end of stalling. This goes all in at this point because PartinG doesn't have a recovery. He doesn't have a 4th base. He doesn't have the money for it. He knows it too. So full commitment to the front line is the only thing that makes sense here. There are 13 goddamn sentries in this army. So many corrosive piles will need to be reserved for breaking force fields and not necessarily shooting away at the Protoss army. Banelings almost get picked off there, too close to the front. Back at home, I think there's another attack that just went off. Who cares? Because it's all about here. The Banelings get really greedy. They keep going against the walls. Banelings completely wasted now in the defense. PartinG gains a big upper hand in terms of what he can push out on the front line, but there's still so much more that he has to chew through, that RagnaroK has to offer. More force fields go down, but the sentries are starting to run out of juice. Speaking of no juice, there's only Kaluz. Picks off the remaining Banelings. Now it's just Ravagers, and that's where the Blink Stalkers can pounce. Plus 2 weapons is huge here. We have a DT in the mix. Don't know if they got picked off by Banelings or what. The Overseer scouts it. Running back one more time, this army shaves off, and they remain neck and neck. 71 army supply to 78. Reinforcements here for RagnaroK, but he's out of cash. This 4th base being threatened is huge. He did establish another base to the north of here, but oh, well, Colossus goes down. PartinG plays forward, dodges with the rest. This is it. This is so close to breaking either player. Those Colossus have 19 and 21 kills. PartinG can only afford to warp in like 1 stalker at a time. He's in such a shitty position with his money right now, but he is trading so cost efficiently. 10,000 minerals ahead in that regard. RagnaroK's running out of steam too. A lot of what he had was power through the Banelings. Without those Banelings, Ravagers alone are not that terrifying. Anything warps in at this point and deals with them. Blink Stalker's obviously the weapon of choice. Colossus continue to kite. One of them is being focused down. He drags it back. The micro while the Stalkers hold the front line does cost him the Warp Prism. No more reinforcements, but PartinG's Warpins are so low because of his lack of economy. He's kind of already at no reinforcements. So playing now like he has been for the last 3 minutes. Blinks forward. Stalkers not going to be able to kill everything, but clear out most of those. Oh, he is going to get everything. Yeah, I thought RagnaroK was going to pull back. Never mind. That's it. DD, he's dead, dude. GG, ladies and gentlemen. PartinG takes the series 2-1 in what is absolutely an exciting manner.